If you hear me!
Today on the show, Cena is everywhere and we can definitely see him. Ron Killings follows him all the while. King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring qualifiers fill the show. All this and more on this week's SmackDown recap. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children whose parents ought to know how parental controls work by now, I am the Kayfabe Assassin, joined as always by the ring historian Dirty Dave. And hold up, that looks like Syria's answer to Steve Rogers has turned up. It's Captain Middle Eastern. It's Fraz. Smash the like button, share this video, and subscribe with the notification bell turned on. Let's get to it, boys. SmackDown this week. What do we think?
I didn't watch it all. It's currently 9:25 in the UK, and SmackDown finished at 4 a.m. So I woke up a few hours ago. No, I've only seen half of it. But by all accounts, it was fantastic because John Cena was littered all over the show. Never give up, baby.
Never give up. Never give up, never giving up. He's the GOAT for a reason. Dave, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a good SmackDown. I'm like Fraz. I managed to just about watch it all. Got up at 6 this morning to finish watching it. I thought overall the crowd were really good. I thought the show flowed really well. I thought there was a little dip in the middle, but we'll talk about that. But actually, I was quite pleased to see John Cena. I thought he did some good work on the mic. I felt all the mic segments were good. There's one that I was a bit question mark over. Again, we'll talk about that. But yeah, no, I was impressed. Still doesn't have enough for me to say it was better than Raw, but yeah, it's a good show. Good show.
Well, as the only one of the Holler If You Hear Me team that actually had the passion to stay up and watch the fucking thing, I was at work, admittedly, but there we are. I can say it was a really good episode of SmackDown. I thought it flowed really, really well. The fact that there were this many matches and the matches themselves absolutely kicked the shit out of anything else I've seen recently. I was really, really happy with it. Like you said, there was a bit of a lull in the middle, I thought, we will get on to that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good episode. It flew by. Didn't feel like 3 hours, but I thought it was good. But we'll kick things off, as we so often do, by talking about the most perhaps important segment of the show. Would you say that was the John Cena and CM Punk interaction, or the main event on this occasion?
Neither. I thought the opening segment was probably the best part.
It's a fair cop. There's no doubt about it.
It was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Surprise, Cody comes out, but didn't expect Randy, didn't expect LA Knight. Hot take from Fraz this week, as I am LA Knight's biggest fan. He was quality. He was really good. I love the line, what was it? You might be a genius balding bitch. That title was mine.
To John,
to Cena. And Randy was good as well. Maybe alluding to the fact that Cody and Randy are going to have a little match, which will be fun.
Yes.
Cena was quality as always. Bit of a Steiner promo, wasn't it? With his mathematical genius. I might have to call him Professor Seaman. He was just. It was a great segment. It was exciting, unpredictable, and as always, John reigns supreme. He has all the power, and he did mention Seth as well, didn't he?
I was going to say he has it for now, anyway. Who knows how long he keeps it?
But it just set the tone of the show.
And obviously led into that amazing opening match as well.
Very much so. I'd like to talk about that match for just a second. I thought that match was one of the best televised matches I've seen in the last 2 or 3 months. Excellent show, excellent match. Carmelo Hayes was flying about all over the place and was making that match what it was. Ali Black was doing some good kicks. I thought he actually caught a few of them pretty flush. Randy being Randy was really good. LA Knight was LA Knight at this point. You know what you're going to get. But no, Carmelo Hayes, star-making performance. I slept on him, I think, until now. But that was phenomenal.
I think it's good having a mix of talent in the ring. So you've got, Randy and LA Knight can slow the match down when they need to. And then you had the speed and the diversity of like Black and Carmelo Hayes. So it's just a really good mix of very contrasting styles, but it was good because there were hot spots when they needed to be, there was fast points when they needed to be, there were real intense strikes when they needed to be, and then there was that slightly slower pace when there needed to be to really sell everything from LA Knight and Randy Orton. I just thought it worked really well. It was a great sort of fatal four-way, which
Magic finish as well.
Tough.
Mm-hmm.
I did think Carmelo was going to win, and then a part of me thought, "Oh, where's Randy? There he is. There he is.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Beautiful." But yeah, I couldn't agree with you guys more. Carmelo Hayes' future. He's just fucking brilliant. Everything he does. He is. It's just crisp in everything he does. He reminds me somewhat of Logan Paul. People talk about his athleticism. Carmelo Hayes. Hot.
That's a really good take, actually. Yeah, he can do all that same stuff. That's a really, really good point. I had never compared the two.
His frog splash is ridiculous. People talk about Montez Ford's frog splash off the top, but Hayes is just as good. Maybe not as much height, but it was good. And obviously him winning, Randy winning, just takes us down that road of him and Cody.
I think it's got to happen.
I think Cody and Randy is pretty much dead cert, isn't it, at this point? I don't think there can be anyone else. Who's on the Raw side of it? Sammy?
It'll be Sammy and Cody in the final because it's in Saudi. And as I've said on previous shows, I think Sammy will suffer some serious heartbreak. And he will also, whilst Dave does some manoeuvring, technical difficulties.
Shinsuke Nakamura joins the chat.
And I think Sammy will probably go on and win the Royal Rumble later that year.
Oh yeah, that was I think you mentioned that on the Raw recap, didn't you? Thought that because it's in Saudi this year, that might be a way for him to do it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of changes coming. I'd like to see Carmelo Hayes as a babyface. I'd like to see Sami Zayn as a heel. I'm not sure how the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes match is going to go. Is it face versus face, or is someone going to turn? Don't know.
I think Randy will turn.
Yeah, I mean that's the obvious sort of
everyone.
pick, I suppose, and which I agree with. But let's wait and see.
I don't know about you guys, and this may seem like a hot take, but I think the long term, I mean, we're talking 5 to 10, maybe just 5 years actually. I think Carmelo is the foil to Braun. I think those two can be the Edge and John Cena of the WWE going forward. From when like Seth goes, because Seth's only got a few years left, maybe. Randy's only got a couple of years left. All these guys are going to be retiring in the next 5 to 10, and I think literally if they're building Braun and Carmelo this way now, they will be the top face and top heel of the company within the next 5 to 10 years, without a doubt.
Do you know what? I've two really great takes here. Fraz, one, you can sort of compare his athleticism to Logan Paul, and I'd never really thought about that, and I couldn't agree more. And then Andy, I think that's a really good take because, yeah, Carmelo could be the next sort of Rollins. I was having this chat with one of my mates last night about everybody's got their favourites, but sometimes there's a theme of wrestlers, and for me it's like Randy Savage, Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins, who's going to be the next sort of version in there somewhere. And that's a really, really good take, Andy. I think Carmelo could really fit that if they build him properly, because he can have a match with anyone.
Absolutely anyone. So, sorry, Fraz, was you going to say anything then?
No, not really. Well, it was just simply my predictions, as I've already said. Cody and Sammy in the final. Cody's won. Sammy's won. Yeah, just kind of makes a bit of sense if that's the storyline they're going to go down. And yeah, we've already waxed lyrical about Carmelo. LA Knight is massively over at the moment, but obviously he's now going to do a program with Braun and Bronson. And who was the other competitor? Was it Aleister Black?
Ali Black, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we already know what he can do in the ring. Entrance quality, just needs some
Character.
some meat on the story, doesn't he? I think his character's there. I just think he just needs the right story.
Yeah, meaty story.
And he's just come back, so
True,
not
and
expecting
maybe
too much at
less
the moment.
Miz interaction would do well for Aleister Black. Someone else, maybe a Shinsuke feud, a nice hard-hitting Shinsuke feud, turn Ali Black face, or
Battle of the Kicks.
as a way of getting Shinsuke out of the company long term, because he is going soon, surely. But anyway, shall we move on from the opening segment into our other takes from the night? Anything else?
Yeah, well, you want to talk about CM Punk and Cena, don't you?
Definitely do. It's a big deal. I thought it was quite a neat little segment. Cena once again came out, this time calling out Ron Killings, because obviously he'd attacked him at the end of the first segment, and he got the truth in the form of CM Punk. Punk came out pretty much just saying he was going to chat real. He's going to keep it 100, as Jacob would say. And I don't think he went in as hard as I thought he was going to. I thought we were going to get proper pipe bomb on that one. It was good, but not as hard as I thought he might have gone.
Well, he started off giving Cena a chance, and when Cena obviously decided not to take that chance, then he definitely turned up the treble. And now we know gloves off, so maybe see what they have to say going forward. Maybe he will be more pipe bombish. But I thought it raised the stakes. I loved his little what did he say at the end because Ron Killings came out at the end to attack Cena, and I think Punk came back to the ring and said, did he say you can't handle the truth or something? He shouted like through, which I thought was pretty cool, because obviously Cena had been saying that, hadn't he, to the crowd when R-Truth had been potentially let go. We still don't know whether that's a work or not, but yeah. No, I like that. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it builds the story nicely, doesn't it? As I say, any kind of title match needs weekly interactions between the two competitors. Cena done what he should have done, and Punk did what he should have done. Yeah, perhaps he could have been a bit more brutish, but we've still got a couple of weeks, haven't we? I mean, this is one of my gripes with WWE at the moment. The scheduling is fucking intense, so it's really hard for them to build, especially Punk and Cena. It's hard for them to build something as big as that in a few weeks. But that being said, beggars can't be choosers. I said to you boys last week, we're getting it. It's iconic. It will be brilliant, and I'm looking forward to Raw now to see what they say on there.
I think the fact that the PLEs are having less matches on it means, or it potentially gives the opportunity for the PLE matches to mean more, because you can't build 7 or 8 matches at a PLE in 3 weeks. Yeah. It's on separate shows. I mean, we're sort of seeing people swap shows again. That's becoming a bit more of the norm, because they're struggling to build everything that they need to, because not only have you got the PLEs, but you're squeezing in Saturday night's main events and things like that. But I think what we're getting is good. But I think some talent is potentially getting lost. But like we all know, Cena's gone at the end of the year, so next year is already going to look completely different. There's going to be a vacant spot for someone to take. Randy's intermittent because of his injuries. Seth,
there's a spot there for someone to step up, break through that glass ceiling, as they say.
Yeah, I think we'll see that more next year. But still plenty of time. Still plenty of time. And this week's SmackDown gave everybody plenty of time to wrestle, which is why I like the triple threat matches for the Money in the Bank qualifiers, and I like the format of the Fatal 4-Ways for the King of the Rings. It's a great way to get talent on. And like we've just said, Carmelo Hayes, classic example. Haven't seen much of him, and then boom, he's our major talking point.
I think going back to the CM Punk thing, the only thing I hope they get in at some point, if they are interested in Punk becoming King of the Pipe Bombs again, I'd like to hear him say something around the fact that, John Cena, you are the 17, but I left for a good 7 years. Had I stuck around, you'd be maybe 10, maybe 12 tops, and then we wouldn't be talking about you in a Mount Rushmore situation, because you wouldn't be. I think that would be like alluding to the fact that obviously he spent time away, and also obviously not mentioning it directly, but AEW, I think it would be quite a cool little moment to say, you ain't as good as you think, pal. But yeah, that's the only thing I was going to say about that.
I think, yeah, that's a really good take. And then Cena could retort about, well, you're back now, and you're a hypocrite because you're coming to Saudi to fight me. So clearly you've got a bigger, you're more.
You went off, talked shit, then came back to do exactly the things you said you didn't want to do anymore, and now you're even back here to do something else that you never thought you'd do. Who's the hypocrite? Yeah. Yes. Should we talk about the main event? I know it's a bit tough for Fraz because obviously if you haven't watched it yet, we don't want to give too much.
I've seen the highlights.
You've seen the highlights.
I've seen the highlights. I know who wins. I know it was a good match. Lots of Cody cutters.
It was a good match. I would say I think they booked the card upside down. I think the opening match should have main evented, but Cody wasn't in it, so it wasn't going to main event. But in terms of the match quality and the competitors in the match, this should have gone on first, and the Randy match should have gone last, in my opinion. But it was still a decent match for what it was. I didn't hate it. But yeah, it was good. Andrade is, to me, in that same realm at the moment of Mello doing absolute great work and really, really kicking the crap out of everything he's being given. But the rest of the compares...
I think, hindsight, I don't think anybody knew how amazing that opening match was going to be. But also, I think it is great to have an opening match. I mean, Jim Ross always said the first match is just as important as the last. He had that famous argument with Kurt Angle when Kurt Angle didn't want to go on first at SummerSlam 2002. The main event was always going to be a slightly different paced match because we've got different people in it. I like the fact Cody was in it and it was the main event because we haven't seen Cody for a while. I think one of my criticisms when he was champion was that actually on TV he didn't wrestle much. He did a fantastic job at house shows and his PLE performance was fantastic, but ultimately he used to come out on SmackDown and wear a suit, ask people what they want to talk about and walk off, and that was the opening segment, and then you probably wouldn't even see him again in the show. So I kind of like that we're seeing him
wrestle,
and I kind of like that he's back in the main event because he is the main event, isn't he? It's Cody. But
they did mention on commentary that it's the first time he's wrestled a SmackDown match since February.
Oh, they did, didn't they? Yeah.
So that whole build to Mania, he hadn't wrestled a single match on SmackDown, and then WrestleMania, then he disappeared until whenever, and that's his first match since February. That's like 5 months. No, 4 months. Long time.
Yeah, but he's still been to counter that though. He has still been prominent on pretty much every show. That's why. It was great to see him wrestle, and as we've already said, he is fantastic in ring. He's the main event. He's QB1, isn't he? But we're talking about SmackDown lacking energy. Well, since WrestleMania, when Cody had left, it had. Cody's back now, and I honestly that opening segment, the first match, the last match. There's lots of Cena, lots of Punk, lots of Ron Killings. The women's qualifying match. Naomi, we haven't spoken about the Naomi stuff. Like, SmackDown this week was excellent.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to watch it. I literally said to Claire, like, it's typical, isn't it? The one time we decide to do a SmackDown recap show, imminently after the show's finished, I haven't got to watch all of it. But I will be excited to watch it all back. And again, it just feeds in nicely at the moment. We've had really great shows the last few weeks. In particular, the PLEs. Raw was brilliant on Monday. This episode was great. It was obvious who was going to win the main event, but we're all there. Like you say, if you haven't seen Cody wrestle since February on SmackDown, who cares? Brilliant. All adds to the story.
Yeah, I would just like to say to that Naomi was fantastic. Proceed with caution. And some sort of Razor Ramon outfit she was wearing. She had razor blades all over it.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Shut your mouth, you bitch. She was talking to someone in the crowd. I mean, this is what I mean. Yeah. Like, seriously, putting the briefcase on her is fantastic. I didn't quite understand the failed catch-in attempt.
I don't think she really was going to.
That was just tempting, wasn't it? It was just
Yeah, I know.
She's gonna
But it's
tease.
just like, yeah, why? Because Nia told her to get the fuck out, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was
just
pretty
like-
cool that Nia was hanging around after her match, to be fair. Like, Nia obviously had gone through the barricade and was basically in recovery, jumped in the
Woke
ring, and then
up,
battered
yeah.
Tiffany. I
Beat
thought it was
shit out of
brilliant.
Tiffany.
Yeah. She did more post-match than she did match. But
Yeah. But going back to Naomi, yeah, some of the stuff she said, you know, TikTok, your time's
Yes.
up, Tiffy. You know,
Yep.
just shit like that. I'm going to
TikTok,
take you
it was
out.
so good. So good. And she's going to make her life hell now, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. She is. And, you know, it makes sense. Obviously, Mangill's, we can talk about the qualifying match. That was good. Mangill wins. And it all is building up to SummerSlam, isn't it?
Yeah, Mangill got her victory. Really impressive finish. And then, obviously, in the other match, we have Alexa Bliss, which was great because Charlotte had the figure 8 in. Alexa Bliss dives in. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Gets the pin before they could submit. I thought that was a great end to the match.
I did think that, was it Alba Fyre she had in the figure 8?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
she was going to tap at the same time as the 3. And it would
Yeah,
be,
like controversial.
yeah, do you know what I mean? Just a filler before we get to
And then those two could have had to fight it out maybe in a single match next week to determine who goes through or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
Yeah, because there's clearly blood boiling between those two.
But very interesting. Again, lots of stories. You're invested pretty much in both sides, the king and the queen. Whereas normally it's just like,
Well, coming off King and Queen or Night of Champions, we've got Evolution too, so the women are getting a fair amount of time.
A lot of time, aren't they?
There's a lot of stories. You know, Becky and Bailey are clearly going to be in a great match. Charlotte and Alexa look like they're going to have a match. Tag team titles will be on the line. The women's title matches, a potential cash in Evolution, and obviously Nikki Bella's back.
yeah,
So
we're eating well. We're eating well, as they say.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go into a little bit more detail, perhaps, about the first and second Queen of the Ring qualifiers. I personally thought the first one was the better of the two, if I'm being completely honest with you. I thought the two giants in the match, Piper and Nia, really played their roles well. I thought Michin actually had a pretty decent role. She, when Mangill had been thrown over into Wade, which was quite funny, I thought Michin was quite good in terms of, like, she actually showed a bit of fight, and you don't often see a lot of character from Michin, but she actually did pretty well, I thought. But yeah, really good match. I preferred it to the second one, and that's not just Charlotte hate. That's just objectively, I thought, or subjectively, I guess. I thought it was a better match. The second one, for me, was good, but you knew, I knew, you kind of knew every winner of every match on the card. But when you've got Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, Alba Fyre and Candice LeRae, you know at least two of those people definitely 100% are not winning. And it was, you know, it could have been Alexa, it could have been Charlotte. It's more likely to be Charlotte, and I'm glad it's Alexa. And the finish was pretty inventive. But yeah, I thought the first one had a little bit more. It could have been, it wouldn't have been Piper, but it could have been Nia, could have been Mangill. But they might have even given Michin a shot, you know, unlikely as it would sound. But
I think it sounds exactly the same, doesn't it? Both matches.
Yeah.
There were two competitors in both matches that you kind of would put your money on. I was more surprised that Alexa Bliss beat Charlotte Flair. I think I said 3 weeks ago when Alexa came back, let's just hope that she doesn't drift off and they forget about her. But they clearly haven't. I was a little bit disappointed because I do want to see Mangill and Charlotte. I think they'll cook. And as for the Mangill match, yeah, it was what it was. She was just showcasing her powerhouse strength, and she will be dominant. Before you know it, she'll be in that main event picture.
I think the thing about the first match that surprised me is that you would have thought Michin would have been more of the workhorse, you know, doing a bit more of the running around for everybody else. But actually, it was Piper Niven and Nia Jax did the most in the match, which was, you know, great testament to those two, because they shouldn't be doing all the running around and chasing. But they did it, and it didn't look out of place.
Yeah.
and made the match a lot better than I thought it was going to be on paper, definitely. But yeah, I think, to be fair, to agree with both of you, for me, I wasn't surprised who won the first match, and I was more surprised who won the second match. So I think when I was watching it, I was probably more invested in the second match, and I like Charlotte Flair. So
Yeah.
So maybe there is some bias on my part because I really don't like Charlotte.
no,
So it's
you're right. It's 50-50.
horses for courses.
On a
Isn't
whole, I think we knew who was going to win both matches, but I thought the second match offered a bigger chance of a surprise, and that is what we got. Whereas the first match was a great match, much better match than I thought it was going to be, but I was 99.9% sure Mangy was winning. So you're just not quite as invested, maybe. But the quality of the match and the work that especially Piper Niven and Nia Jax done, really impressed.
Faultless.
Faultless, son.
Speaking earlier of things drifting off, we'll talk about now the tag team match. The tag team division has usually been a highlight for us over the last few months. We started doing this. We always talk about how good the SmackDown tag division is. Wyatt Sicks being added to it, I feel all kinds of ways about this situation. I think they chose the worst possible outcome in terms of the team to face them as the first team to face them, because I physically cannot bring myself to care about the Motor City Machine Guns, and that's from a TNA fan who loved each of them in TNA. I cannot bring myself to give a fuck about them, I'll be honest with you. And sending them two out rather than sending out DIY or even Fraxium, I would have rather, actually, to be fair. Sorry, Frazium. And then, yeah, the Wyatt Sicks entrance, the Fireflies were out, but nobody really did much in terms of vocally. I didn't hear the crowd at all. And I think... So I've written here as a note, and I will just quickly read it. Why would you send out the most generic butt-ass team to face the Wyatts? Sad that the Wyatts are over, but like in a weird way. They're over because it's the spirit of Bray Wyatt. People want them to be Bray, but it's like a pale imitation of Bray Wyatt. Everything they're doing is Diet Bray, Bray Zero. It's not the real deal, and we're always going to end up being disappointed. I don't see how there can possibly be a payoff for this angle, for these characters, without something huge. They have to do something massive to the development of that story. Otherwise, everyone is going to be like, yeah, it's great, it's cool, but we wish it was Bray. And that's how I felt about it watching it.
Yeah.
Go on, Dave.
I see your point overall. If I'll strip it back to the tag match first, I think that the main issue with this is the Motor City Machine Guns are just not over and no one cares. So they come out to the ring, music's average, they had some fireworks, and they're pretending to shoot people. And it's like, I ain't being funny, but the Smoke and Guns were far better at that in 1993. And at least they had actual guns that had poppers going off in it. It's like, come on, put some effort in. I think their ring attire is pants. I think they come across really false. They got rubbish hair. They keep holding their heads all the time. It's like, I know I have a go at you, Andy, when you go on about EO Sky, but like, I don't get the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't get what they're trying to do. I honestly don't care. And I think what we should have had, as much as I love Pretty Deadly, right? I honestly think the Wyatt Sicks should have just hammered Pretty Deadly in their first match back. And then we should have had all the other teams on notice, all the other teams thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do? They're going to run over us all. And I think because we didn't get a demolition job by the Wyatt Sicks to start with, and then they face the first team they face is a team that isn't even over, that no one cares about, and really everybody was just waiting for the Wyatt Sicks to win the match. I don't think that was ever in doubt, and I think that's why the crowd were not as into the Wyatts as they could have been. Long term for the group, I take your points, and I'm not sure what the big payoff is going to be overall for Bo Dallas. But for the tag team division, I'm excited to have them in there. I thought what they were doing in the match was great. I'm a big fan of Dexter Lumis, and I think it can pick up. But I think we need a demolition job to repair this week. I think, as much as I love Pretty Deadly, I think they need to come out and hammer someone. I think it's a bit of a false start. Could have been avoided.
I am chomping at the bit to get into this. So one, I did say Pretty Deadly would be the jobbers of the tag team division. They're going nowhere. So correct, they should have. Secondly, as we've already alluded to the fact, the beginning of the show was pretty shit hot, right? The first match was great. Then we had the Jacob Fatu promo. When you then chuck in this match in the middle of the show, the crowd are going to be a little bit on a lull. So yeah, they could have had better opponents. But Andy, just going back to your statement there about the Wyatt Sicks, if you cast your mind back 2 weeks ago, you were fucking absolutely psyched to see them. And it's just interesting to see that in 2 weeks your opinion has completely changed. And this is not an attack on you, but it's all about patience, my friend. Yeah. Obviously, Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy, whatever you call him, is gold. The Wyatt Sicks are gold. They just need time to cook in the kitchen. We don't want this whole, you'll appear 1 week and then we'll wait 4 weeks later. I've already said that. They just need a story, don't they? I don't think it needs to be massive. It's like Aleister Black and Rusev. Like, we were so excited to get them back. Now they're back. You've just got to give creative time to create a story for them. If there's nothing for them, at least we've got them on TV. And I'm with Dave, as long as... Why have you put Gold Dust in the chat? I'm with Dave. The Wyatts were great in the ring, and it's only going to be good for the tag team division. My only criticism is that they have the best tag team division in professional wrestling, and the last few weeks we've not really seen anything. We were talking about, when we first started filming the show, we were talking about Fraxium, how they're running through everyone. Tag team division is shit hot. They got everything right in terms of their booking on the show. They're getting time on this 3-hour show that was dragging, and now we've got nothing. This is the first real match for a couple of weeks now. I just think perhaps they're losing momentum, and the placement of that match was probably not the best.
Yeah, I think they've probably... I know Andy will want to answer that, but just really quickly, I think the tag team division has suffered a little bit, I think, with the Money in the Bank qualifiers and the King and Queen of the Ring qualifiers. Getting those single stars in, just like the single stars suffered a little bit when the tag team division on SmackDown was doing really, really well. So it's a little bit of give and take. And I think you're right. I think this week we had an opportunity to have one tag match, and it just didn't deliver, which is a shame because, like you say, there's definite loss of momentum. But I think putting a team against them that wasn't over just wasn't the right thing to do. I'd have rather seen a squash match, to be fair.
I just wanted to echo that I would have rather... So the first thing I wanted to say is the thing we're waiting for with with Rusev and Aleister Black is what I think we're waiting for with the Wyatt Sicks. Direction, motivation. Okay, I don't know what the Wyatt Sicks' motivation is. We still don't know. They debuted, nearly a year ago-ish? Something like that? They obviously have gone away, come back, gone away, come back, gone away, come back, and now they're back again, and we still have no idea what their motivation is. We don't know what Aleister Black's motivation is. We don't know what Rusev's motivation is. But they've only been back for a few weeks. It's time to get some storyline motivations as to why they're doing these things, what they want to achieve. If it's just to cause chaos, then let that be it. Let that be the thing. But not stating it makes it hard to get invested in them, for me. As for
But
the
they
team,
have. Sorry.
as for the team they should have beaten, I think the way they could have done that in the preamble is have, like you said, Pretty Deadly, okay, but have all of the teams, MCMG, Profits, DIY, and Fraxium, all stood in the back talking about, well, you can face them. No, we want to face them. No, you can face them. And then literally have Elton Prince and Kit Wilson walk in and go, hey, what's going on in here? Why is everyone shouting in here? Why are we not involved? And then everyone just looks at them and goes, you can face them.
Yeah.
And then they send them off, and Nick Aldis is like, well, that's decided then. And that would have been a perfect way to get Pretty Deadly on the TV, get them squashed, get the Wyatt Sicks over with a decent team that can take a beating, and preserves all of the other teams without hurting them. Motor City Machine Guns aside, because no one gives a fuck. But again, that's just my thing.
That.
Yeah, I just going back to what you say, we do know what they want to do. They want to win the tag titles. They want to win the tag titles. They've been back 2 weeks. There's no difference with Aleister Black and Rusev, in my opinion. The Wyatts haven't been on TV for a few months, so it's very similar. You've forgotten about them, haven't you? When they came back, that was a big shock, and everyone was fucking really excited about it. They're very cryptic, and it's just their characters as the way it is. They're not going to come out. They're not like normal wrestlers. That's why people are intrigued by the mystique. They're not going to come out and go, we want to win the tag team titles. We're the best in the world. It's all about Uncle Howdy building this creepy mystique. And yeah, I get it. You know, they're never going to be Bray Wyatt, are they? But they're doing the best they can. He just needs someone, a character, to work alongside him. And I don't think it will be long before he's involved in a better story, particularly just for him. And the same could be said about Nikki Cross, you know, that she's never been one of my favourites, but she suits that character in that faction. And once they find someone for her to fight, then that'll be great.
Yeah, I think the initial job for this is to get the other people in the Wyatt Six over. And then when Howdy thinks they're rolling, then we'll see really what he's all about, I think.
Yeah. If we're 2 weeks down the line, Andy, I'm with you, my friend. But at the moment, I just think it's too early to sort of be questioning direction and what are they doing on TV, and they're a pale comparison to fucking Bray Wyatt.
I was just going by what I interpreted the crowd reaction as. Like, when Loomis and Gacy stepped forward, everyone was like, okay. Like, you could literally hear a pin drop. You could hear Howdy talking. And it's just like, this team, when they came out and did the fucking murder on Chad Gable, there was no silence. It was excitement. It was anticipating. It was so exciting. But now it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to need a little bit more than that.
But you've already agreed with the fact that Motor City Machine Guns are crap. You're not.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nor the crowd.
Absolutely.
They're
Wrong
not
team,
over.
wrong team.
So is that the Wyatts, or is that the opponents they stuck in the ring? And if the crowd, we've said it a million times, if you're not invested in the storyline, then you're not going to be invested in the match. And Motor City Machine Guns are not over, and no one's interested. But I'll tell you what we are interested in: Jacob Fatu.
Very much so.
I mean, honestly, the guy is a catchphrase machine nowadays, isn't he? If they don't make like about 10 T-shirts out of him, he is cool, and I do like him. But Solo's better. Solo was much better. You know, I brought you into this world. I can take you out of this world. You know what I mean? The only disappointing thing was this guy. What's his name? Hildegardo or whatever. No, the guy who was supposed to debut.
Oh, he was on.
Oh, Hikuleo.
When I said to you, I'm not interested in the bloodline anymore. That's fucking, you know,
The
about a
7
year
foot
too
cousin.
late. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
thought
was
he
on
was going to appear in
A main event, I think, or whatever they call it now.
Well, actually, he was on a dark match against one of Pretty Deadly. I think it was Prince. So Pretty Deadly are there. Seem to be relegated to dark match. You know, crowd warm-ups.
Enjoys nice catering.
But even if you're doing that, you can pull double duty, surely. It's not a taxing match, is it? But
So again, nice build to the story. As I said with Cena and Punk, you know, anyone that's in some kind of feud that's, you know, upper mid-card, main event, you want to see him on TV each week. It was a shame that Solo wasn't there, but that was still a great promo. And next week we're going to have them in the ring, which I presume is probably when this guy is going to come out and attack Jacob.
That or the Tongans, or all three, maybe.
Yeah.
They've got to come back at some point.
Yeah, where are they gone?
Injuries, various ones. I think so.
Okay.
If I may, I'd like to round out, perhaps even approach the ending of the show with a little pet peeve, a Nero pet peeve. Why are they still calling him R-Truth? The man has got freaking T-shirts now which say Ron Killings. Call him his name. Stop referring to him as R-Truth, you fucking melt. It's his goddamn name. It's his birth name. How hard is it? It's really frustrated me. Really annoyed me throughout the show. I mean, yes, I'm tired and I'm irritable, but that really got on my nerves.
The kayfabe assassin upset that the commentator is too kayfabe.
Don't like it.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. I still call him R-Truth, and I will call him R-Truth. For the purposes of the show, I'll call him Ron Killings, but he'll always be R-Truth.
It's just as good as Bret Hart, isn't he?
Just as good as Bret Hart. But, yeah, I have no idea, mate. No idea.
He's a crap commentator. He should not be on that show. That's
Which one, Testator or Barrett? Because I think Barrett's normally okay, but even Barrett kept on calling him R-Truth.
Well, Barrett's job is to follow the lead announcer, so maybe he just went with it. I'll let him off. But the lead announcer needs to be better. I struggle with that. I don't think we talk about energy. I don't think he brings any energy to the matches or the story or the commentary or the SmackDown at all.
He's Mike Adamley 2.0.
Yeah, he really, really doesn't do it for me. I think he's a good second-hand car salesman.
Or stick him on the pre-show or the post-show or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'd stick him on there or backstage. But yeah, I think he drains the energy for me in matches, especially if matches are dragging.
Well, if Corey does his job properly on NXT, he'll be back, won't he?
I'd rather Corey as the lead.
If he stops threatening higher ups in the company, then yeah, maybe he will.
Well, he's apologised for that. However, if our complaints for the show was the tag team match with the Wyatts and the Motor City Machine Guns and Joe Testicle, I think we can safely say that the SmackDown was up this week, and it'll lead in nicely to Raw, won't it?
Let's get Raw.
Right. Close the show for us, Andy.
I will do. Thank you to everyone that stuck with us on this Saturday morning. I hope you have a great weekend and a great day. And we'll see you for another episode of Holler If You Hear Me for the Monday Night Raw recap. Take care. Have a great weekend.